Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are starting a multiple video little series here that is going to be going through all the palettes that are in what I call my pile of shame. Meaning these are palettes that I have bought and still have never used for one reason or another. I've talked about my palette pile of shame before and I've even done some videos. I'll leave linked my playlist of palettes I've gone through so far that were in my pile of shame, and I filmed like looks with them, but there are actually a lot more palettes in my pile of shame still left. So I wanted to break down and show you some of them and ask you guys what you would like to see me film with. I am trying really hard to not buy so much this year. I'm limiting myself to max 2 makeup purchases a month this year, and so I went through my collection, was doing like my inventory, still prepping to do a complete makeup inventory video for you guys. And as I was counting my palettes, I went through and took out all of the palettes that I have never used. And there were so many that's why this has to be a multiple part video. So I'm going to start with, I think 12 to start with today, palettes that are in my collection but I've never used before, and you guys can tell me which ones you would like to see me film with. So before we get too far into the video, if you haven't already, I would love you to consider subscribing to the channel. I upload twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I would love to see you again on the channel. So these 12 palettes aren't ranked. They're not in any particular order. It's just the first 12 that I happen to pull. I think when I counted, I have 37, I believe, palettes that I have purchased and never used. So I was looking at buying the, I think it's called the Forest palette or Forest Fairy, something like that, from Salem Cosmetics and Smink collab today, because it's the last day before the second pre-order closes, the day I'm filming this. But going through all these and pulling these was just a wake-up call to me of like, that's a lot of palettes just to own, period, let alone palettes that I haven't used. So I'm not buying it. I'm not going to. I need to work on this stack of stuff before I do anything else. That's just, it's gotta be. So here is the first few of palettes I bought but haven't used. So the first one is from a brand that doesn't even exist anymore. This is from Muse Beauty, and then they changed, rebranded to Makayla, and since then they have closed completely. So this is their collector's edition. It was limited edition Triumph of Venus palette, and I originally wasn't going to buy it because I'm not super always into blues, but I saw a lot of tutorials, especially with this kind of gray storm color up here, and it got me. It just got me. Now, my experience with this brand before is that sometimes the colors aren't as pigmented as they look in pan, and the shimmers aren't super impactful without a glitter glue. I've had a good experience with one palette, their Van Gogh palette. I love, and I'm hoping when I try it this will be the same. The Rococo, I did not like it all, like just because of what I just said. It was way more faint and sheer pigmentation on the eyes than it looked like in the palette. I did not like it. Luckily, that's the kind of palette my mom actually does like and prefers, so I pass it along to her so it would still get good use, but we need to see at some point which of those two other palettes this is more like and if I'm gonna like it or not. Next up from Odin's Eye, the Erd palette. I've heard so many people say good things about this that I had to have it, but clearly not because I haven't used it yet. So this is like an interesting color story if you haven't seen it. It's just this like, I can't even call it mint. It's this like off green color here that's so unique, paired with a couple different browns. This one almost looks like brown burgundy to me. There's a deep dark green shimmer, and then there's also like a gunmetal like silver in here. Just a really unique, interesting color story considering it's 4 pans and then a 5th pan that's split, so it's got like 6 shades in it. So I think my hesitation on this one is I have one other of these small ones I got in a mystery box, and I think it's either the sky or the ocean, something like that. It's mostly blues, and I've used that palette so many times and I dislike it every single time. So I'm nervous that's going to be the case with this one too, and I think that's why I keep putting it off. I just need to bite the bullet and do it. Next up, a more recent one, the Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Lunar. If you don't want to see the color story destroyed, ruined for you, whatever you want to call it, spoiled, don't watch this. Fast forward like 30 seconds. So I don't even know if you can buy these anymore, but I went ahead and put in the shades. you know, from the advent calendar. It was super fun, loved the concept, the idea, had a lot of fun opening this, but haven't used the palette since I put it together. It is pretty neutral, I feel like, and not what I was expecting, but still glad I did it, still glad I have it, but I need to use it now that I've put it together. I've got two from Kaleidos. The first one, I don't know what my deal is because like every time I look at this, I'm excited to use it, but it's like now when I already have my makeup done. But the Flower Punk palette, this was huge when it came out. Amazing artwork. It's got this top that totally detaches, like the mirror that completely comes off. And then here is the color story on the inside. And honestly, looking at it like this gives me Melt vibes. What do you guys think? Like with the strip pans, it really does give me Melt vibes. But Kaleidos has way better shimmers in my experience than Melt does. And I think too, just these like greens is giving me like, and these teals too. It's almost like Smoke Sessions vibes to some degree, but with some, whoops. That's the bad part about having the mirror be separate. If you are clumsy like I am, it's fine, it didn't break. But it's almost like Smoke Sessions, but with some like rosy pinky tones in there. So I've wanted Smoke Sessions for a while, but look, I don't really need it because I've got this and I'm not using this as it is. So this is a good video for me to remember, like, you truly don't need things. You're not using even what you have. And then the other thing from Kaleidos that I bought and didn't use was the Escape Pod palette. This was the first palette I ever saw from the brand that made me want to buy from them. But I think the Angelica Nyqvist palette was the first one I actually bought from them. But this, I'm hoping in the summer I get into more. Although you could definitely do some just like neutral mattes with a sparkly shimmer all over the eye with this and not use those really bright colors at the top. But I know Kaleidos has amazing quality, so I really need to get myself together with those two palettes and use them because I know they're going to be good quality. Next up, I have 3 Urban Decay palettes, okay? So 2 of these I got half off at Ulta and 1 I got less than half off at TJ Maxx. So I like Urban Decay's eyeshadow palettes. I do. I know their shimmers aren't the most like crazy, but I do like them. So the first one I got was the Naked Wild West, or as Teresa's Dead likes to call it, the Arizona Divorcee palette, which I think is hilarious. It's just a very neutral one, right? But it's got some nice pops of blue, and I really love a deep teal like this color here, or like a deep navy. I think this one looks a little more deep teal, but I like I think the last new Naked palette I tried was the Naked Honey. Amazing, amazing. The shimmers look great, so I need to get on that one. I also got for half off the Naked Urban Decay collab with Robin Eisenberg. This looked really, really cool. I watched reviews on it that were positive as far as pigmentation and things were concerned, and it's a little more colorful. Oh, this packaging. It's so pretty. I like these. I know it's plastic, but I like these. And if I'm gonna do blue, I love a periwinkle like this. So I felt like that was more up my alley. And again, there's these more like rosy tones, almost like what I just showed you in the Flower Punk palette. And then there's some more neutrals down here. But another Naked palette that I bought and I haven't used yet. And then the third one from Urban Decay is not in the Naked line. This one I actually got from TJ Maxx for less than half off, but I saw and wanted to try the Wild Greens palette. This one's a little bit newer from this year. Opens like this. There's the color story. It's not that wild, right? But it's got some muted greens and browns, and this is definitely something I would wear like on an everyday basis to work, this sort of color story. I'm trying to angle it there so you don't get the reflective background. I think it's a little easier to see the shades there. But these shimmers look really nice. Like these shimmers look texture-wise better than any of the Naked ones do. So I am excited to try it. I think when I buy stuff, I put it away to get it out of the way, and then I forget that I put it away. So I need to just like keep some of these out to use. Now we're down to the last 4. So this one I got a long time ago. It still says Alien Cosmetics. They are now Unearthly Cosmetics, and they've put out another iteration of this palette since then. So this is the original Bunny's eyeshadow palette. It's got more like primary colors, and it does have one really cool, which one is it? Golden Egg is the multi-chrome that's like yellow to green to blue. The others are just more regular shimmers, and each of them has like a corresponding kind of a primary color. This would be great for spring or summer, so that's why I'm trying to bring this one out first in this first video of 12 or so palettes that I haven't used yet. They put this out again, and it is slightly different other than that Golden Egg multi-chrome shade, and I almost got it again, but I convinced myself, like, why? You haven't even used the first iteration yet. Stop it. And I talked some sense into myself, but this does look lovely, and I do really want to use it. Alien Cosmetics, especially their earlier palettes, like, I've really consistently liked. And then I've got three, count them, three Colourpop palettes that I've never used. So, and I think all three of these were influenced by Jelinek and Nyqvist, and they had like an end of year sale at some point, and I picked them up. So I know she said that she thought, it might have been 2021 or 2022, I can't remember, but that the Lush palette, the Lush Life palette, was, she thought, the best palette that they did all year. And I do love with Colourpop, it's hard to tell on camera, but these are maybe close to my head, you can tell size comparison. These are tiny pans. I like the tiny pans. That is one of the things I don't like about some companies, like Gimme Glow comes to mind, is like, those are such big pans. I'm never going to go through that. I'd rather have it be tinier and more affordable in my mind. So I love the pan size, but she really recommended this one, and I love the look she did. I love the rich deep green and blue in this one. Those are definitely like deepening it up shades, or even shadow liner shades that I use a lot personally when I want color. So that was the first one from Colourpop. I also went ahead and got, because I thought it looked really nice, the Cabana Club palette from Colourpop. Same exact size. It's also got a dark like navy in here, but I don't know, this blue, this light blue, I'm not normally for blue, but that looked really, really pretty, especially paired with like the yellow. And you can even go like a little purple pink. I don't know. This one's another like fun summery spring one that I really should be bringing out, I feel like, this time of year, as it is mid-March. Like, what month is it? What year is it? Do you guys feel like that too? And then the last one from Colourpop, and the last one I'm going to talk about in today's video, is the Lust for Dusk. This one's a little bit bigger than the other two. The pan size is the same, but it has more shades. This is a muted, I can't say it's like even cool tone, because I think they still look warm, but it is, if you like muted colors, a dream. A dream. And I don't know if I've met a Colourpop palette I didn't like. About the only thing I've ever not liked about Colourpop palettes is when they include a pressed glitter, and none of these include pressed glitters. So those are all ones I really need to delve into. So yeah, guys, like I said, that is the first round of palettes in my pile of shame. I would love to hear from you in the comments below if you own any of these palettes, if you've used them, what you thought about them. If there's anything that you're like, it's not even worth trying, just pass it on when it's new now, or sell it and get your money back, you know, that type of thing. Or anything you want to see me film with, because I know channels, they want to see the new, but I would like to do a mix of, you know, like I said, a couple of new things, a couple of new purchases a month, and using a lot of what is already in my collection for videos creatively on my channel. So appreciate all of your feedback and input in the comments below. Thank you so much if you stayed until the end of the video, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye!